Hi guys, what is going on? In today's video, we're going to be bringing you the best Necro dungeon build when it comes to a dot resolver build, guys. In the last video that I did for a dungeon build, it was no dot resolver. We had just pure damage instead of dots being resolved. But now I've optimized this build and I believe this one to be the best we've ever had. Without further ado, guys, we're going to jump straight into it and give an explanation to why I believe this to be the best one. So, skills wise, just like the build we had before, we are going to be using Bone Spirits, Grim Scythe, Bone Armor, Corpse Lance, and Soulfire, guys. Exactly the same build when it comes to the skills. Set items, we're going to be using Studied Menace in our helm, the best dot that we can have when it comes to a dot resolver. We're going to be using Unfilled Grave to, get corpses and give us increased damage. Plasbold is for our movement speed because we're using Bone Armor. We've got Raving Silence because this is our dot resolve. Any dot on the target is going to be instantly deleted and all of that damage in one big hit. We're then using Defiling Swarm for our Whirling Scythe, so we get loads of corpses and loads of actual dot resolving done. We're using Departed Appetite for our Corpse Lance. We are using a Blighted Crop for our Bone Spirits to do some AoE damage. This is insane AoE damage when it comes to the new Bone Spirits, guys. And then we're using the brand new Affix Shield, which is for our Bone Spirits to teleport us to a target. This skill, in my mind, is so good, even with that teleport. And I know a lot of you guys have complained about the teleport. Set items, guys. We are using 2-piece Vifus, which is standard. We are using 4-piece Agments, which is fairly standard for a dot resolver build and any dungeon build for Necros, in my opinion, apart from summons. And then we've got 2-piece Barons to increase the durations of them dots even further. Now, when it comes to our gems, guys, our gems are fairly similar to what we had before because we're going to be wanting to increase the damage. We're damage inflating, right? So we've got Colossus Engine. We've got Pain Clasp because this does more damage to enemies that have got continual damages on them. We've got our Spectre Glass. We've got Mother's Lament. We've got Blood Flow. Then we've got the Ruling Consequences. We've got Bloodsoaked Jade. And we've got the one of the more recent ones, Haunt Coil. Absolutely insane gems. Now, you can replace some of these for others, as I showed in the last video. You could put so many different things in here when it comes to being a lower reso player and still having higher, say, secondaries. So you could go in here with... If you've managed to level it up, Fervent Fang, why not? You could go in here with a Monscore if you've managed to level that up, why not? You could go in with some even lower gems, so you could go in with a Berserker's Eye. You can go in with Misery Elixir. You could go in with Chained Death. The options are endless, guys. If you don't have some of them gems, there's another one. You can even go in with Entropic Well. The options are endless, guys. As long as you're getting an increase in skill damage or damage, crit hit chance or crit hit damage, then that is a sort of setup for you. The only gems that I really think you should focus on when it comes to the 5 stars, guys, and these are important ones, is going to be Roiling Consequences because it adds a burn, which is part of our dot resolve, and Blood Flow. This adds a rend, which also can be dot resolved, which is really, really good. And I think the rest of them, guys, other than them ones, Bloodsoaked Jade gives you a bit of movement speed, which is beneficial for sure, and it gives a % increase in damage. But if you don't have the rest, like, you could replace this, and you could put in an Entropic Well or a Berserker's Eye in here for this, no problem at all. Who cares, right? You're inflating your damage. It's all depending on your spend level. That's the important thing with these builds, guys. Test your gems out, see what works, keep stacking the damage, and you'll do tons. So, guys, Reforges. Reforges are fairly standard, I think, when it comes to us now. You've got 3-piece here to gain the family bonus. That's how you want it. So you got damage to enemies that are suffering loss of control effects, because we're going to want that. The one thing I'm going to point out to you guys, and I'll do that right now, why it's important, is you want to take at least 1 out of 4 Grim Scythe, because that applies a slow, which is classed as a loss of control when it comes to our Reforges, right? So this class is a loss of control. So you're increasing your damage. Damage done to demons is always good in a dungeon build. Attack speeds, you can have that to get the bonus. You want beneficial effect duration on everything. And then skill damage or crit hit damage, depending on what you need. If you've got less crit hit damage, then go crit hit damage on that particular one. Paragons, guys, I would recommend, in my opinion, that this Paragon here. You've got Slinger. You've got Unseen Dynamism, Bloodthirst, Uncanny, Superiority, and Gifted. going along with Death Release as our legendary Paragon skill, simply because all of that is going to be increasing our harmful effects, and you're going to get much more damage when it comes to the actual skills or the actual traits we're using for our Paragon. Warband Room, you've got choices. As always, there's always a choice. You've got Protector or Attacker. I would say go Protector. You get a bit more defense and movement speed because you're going to be increased in size. That is as simple as that. When it comes to our familiars, guys, as always, you're going to want one that has got lingering wounds. The higher the actual amount, the better. Lingering wounds, I've got 38.5% for 3 seconds. So get a pet that's got lingering wounds, even if it's a lower percentage, because it's just going to increase your damage. Cursed properties. I haven't really focused on anything to do with cursed properties. This is just all I've got. 4-piece. Who cares? For cursed properties, if you focus on PvP, have your cursed properties for PvP on there. It does not matter, guys. Does not matter. And then obviously, when I mentioned high potency, this is kind of the stats that I look at. Long as you get this nice and high, you're all good. And then as long as you've got this around about the 54 to 58%, then I think you're going to be rocking brilliantly. Obviously, I've got a lot of crit hit chance here, which is really good. But this crit hit damage, you can cap that at 120%, guys. So you want to be calculating how much percentage you've got when it comes to this stat here, then this stat here, and then any crit hit damage you've got on gems like my blood flow. And if you're close to that 120%, you know you're going to be fine when it comes to your Reforges, and that's how you can adjust things. The other thing I'll briefly mention here is, now I've just seen it, Corpse Lance, get at least 2 out of 4 because it's going to give you a movement speed increase. Because you've only got a number of different ways of increasing our movement speed because we're not using Wraithform, right? So you definitely want to go with a 2 out of 4 on the Corpse Lance. The shoulders here are going to give you an increase in movement speed, which is good. And then you've got, obviously, Bloodsoaked Jade, which is going to increase our movement speed. And that will get us to roughly 60% movement speed most of the time. But guys, that is the build in general. Let me show you how it runs in a dungeon, right? That's what you want to see. You want to see it flowing in a dungeon. Hopefully, we're going to get good affixes, and we'll see. Hopefully, it's not going to be something like sacrificial. Change in height and sentences. Okay. We're going to go in. We're going to teleport straight away. We're going to want to see if there's any elites up here and see what we can really do here. Like, we got 31 million. It's not bad damage. Quite good. Big numbers, which is always nice. We got to open straight away. Teleport again. Here we go. And you can actually interrupt that teleport as long as you're targeting right underneath you. You won't go very far at all. You'll be absolutely fine. You ain't got to miss the mobs. You just got to make sure you're placing the actual teleport right underneath you, unless you intend on teleporting ahead of you, which sometimes is worthwhile doing if you're rushing a dungeon. As you can see, though, no problems with this build at all. I'm going to be using this into the next difficulties, as we are aware that we've got more difficulties coming. Unless there is something new and shiny coming with the patch notes, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But this is good for doing AoE damage that you've just seen me do in this part of the dungeon. And now you'll see me do the bosses, and it's absolutely fine for bosses as well. I wouldn't necessarily say it's as good for raid bosses, but it's good for dungeon bosses. You can see the numbers are fairly consistent, big numbers. You know, you get, I think the maximum hit I've seen is about 3 million, which is absolutely incredible for us Necros. Rip. The blades got me there. But as you can see, there's no issues here, and the numbers are big. The numbers are big. And that is a solo dungeon. So you can see Doing solo dungeons is absolutely fine. Not going to be a problem at all. And it's the same for normal dungeons, guys. If you're doing a random party dungeon, just keep ahead of everyone else and you'll be doing top damage all of the time. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be them dungeons where you come up against and you're against a whale when it comes to the top spot. But I think you're going to absolutely do fine. But guys, that is the build as a whole. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think of this build, and do you think this will be our top dungeon build of 2025? Bearing in mind, we have got 2026 coming up shortly with new essences coming up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So there could be a new build coming, but I highly doubt it. We'll have to wait and see. But guys, if you like the content I bring, don't forget, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, come and jump in my Discord. It's always appreciated. We've got lots of people in there that talk to you through builds and give you kind of advice on any class that you're playing at this moment in time. But guys, until the next one, we'll see you then. Peace out.